Okay, so I'm sitting listening to movie theme movie theme soundtracks in there on me Spotify. And this is important because um, when Vanta Black comes out, I want to be able to put the music on vinyl. I want to be able to promote listening to. You can listen to any of our music or our soundtracks and that on digital if you want, but I personally like with Vanta Black, and I'm thinking the soundtrack to Unorthodox, the Quantum Menace, and all of that, because the music is going to be phenomenal. And any of the singers and artists and bands that the kids form, any records they make in that, I actually want to produce them on vinyl. And in my department store, the Alchemist Cavern, I want to have like, remember back in the old days when you used to be able to go into Decca or Woolworths or whatever, and you could sit in the booth and like listen to an album or hear a track or, that sort of thing. We used to hang around in the album store and flick through all the albums, and there'd be like the album of the week playing in the store and there. I want to go back to those days. I'm already going to have a milk bar. I'm going to have an apothecary. We're going to have a bakery and all that in my little foundations town. So why not have a place where you can hang out and listen to music? Because the kids that are producing albums and any of the stuff, see, I'm going to let any of my staff who are musicians who want to record an album or who want to get involved producing an album, even if they're like a contractor or a baker or something, if the kids aren't using the studios, they can go in and record albums in there. And if they're good, like if they're good ones, we'll promote their music. And turn them into vinyl albums and digital downloads and that, and then we'll play all their music and sell all their music within our little foundation and that. So then if they choose to want to try and make it go mainstream for the whole world to know or whatever, that's fine. But you'll be able to listen to all their stuff on our version of Spotify and on vinyl and that, because I want to get people going back to listening to records, because digital music can't make music sound as good as when you're listening to it on a record. And I personally, when I have my own home, even though I'm going to have speakers and that hooked up, and I'm going to have like the absolute best stereo and speakers and that money can buy, because music is really important to me. I'm going to have a record album, and I'm going to buy, like Jesus Christ Superstar and that on record, on album. I'm going to go around finding all the good albums and that, and have a record collection, and I'm going to have Vanta Black on vinyl, and the soundtrack too, because I'm going to be helping to write a lot of these songs and that as well. So it's personal to me, and I want to be able to put the album on, and while I'm working or writing, listening to some of the classical music that was composed for the making of Vanta Black or whatever. I want to get people going back to listening to vinyl, because nothing sounds like it. We need to go back to, selling stereos again. Bugger with digital. I mean, I'll have digital there for the convenience of it. But see, when I'm wanting to chill, or I've got guests around and we're having like a nice dinner, and we're at the bit where we're having like my homemade crackers and cheeses and dips and that sort of thing, and we've discussed business and now we're just enjoying each other's company, then I'll put like an album on and play the music for Vanta Black or Tchaikovsky or something, but it'll be on album. And I'm going to have like a music store where you'll be able to sit and like listen to the albums. And if we find some classics in second hand shops and stuff like that to sell, then yeah. If I can find like George Benson again and people like Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, Stevie Wonder, the Beatles, like all the good ones, all the classic Tchaikovsky, all sorts, the Doors, all sorts, anything, all the good stuff that I can find, anything from like the 70s and 80s especially, on album. I'm going to have in my collection. I'm going to have a record album collection. And I'm going to have just like the best stereo where you have to put like the needle on the record. Put the needle on the record. So we're going to be producing everything on vinyl. So I hope there's companies in Russia that know how to produce vinyl albums, or they better start one up. Because we're going to publish our own records and stuff, and I want them on vinyl. I want to get people enjoying music properly again. You know, when you'd open up the back doors in the summer, the sun would be going down, you'd have the fire pit on, you turn the speakers around so that the sound would be coming out the windows and out the back doors. Bring it back to that. So dial the entertainment back a little bit where it's still there within your reach, but it's going to be better quality because it's going back to how it was back in the old days when you appreciated that sort of thing, because there wasn't a glut of it out there where it was like an overconsumption of it. In my foundation, in my little world, we dial everything back. Where the food tastes good again, where the sky is blue again, where the rain is clean again, where the music is crisp, where the food is fresh, and you hear the sounds of lawns being mowed and kids running around, and the smells of barbecues and people clinking their glasses and that. We're going to dial it right back. In my foundation, the kids will be able to play out on the street until bloody midnight if they wanted to, and the parents won't have to worry about a thing. And that includes like the music, the entertainment, and I want people to sit around their fireplaces at Christmas time getting excited for one of my Christmas movies to come on. Or, because we do the live feed of the Christmas carols in the park at the foundation and that, I want people to sit around and gather with their goodies and enjoy what it is that we're putting on. And gather around in their costumes with their trick-or-treat goodies and that, watching all the Halloween stuff that we put on, getting terrified. I want people to go to see Unorthodox and then be too scared to use the toilet. Like that sort of thing. Like they'll go into their kitchen after they've just watched Unorthodox and they'll hear like the clock ticking or something, or like a on the ground, and they'll turn around and think it's the Manini or something and be too scared to go into their kitchen by themselves, and that's what I want. So yeah, good old fashioned scaring, and good old fashioned traditional Christmas warmth and togetherness. And when you step through the gates of my foundation, we're taking you right back to tradition in a modern way, where everything gets dialed right back, where it's quietening down all the unnecessary noise, so that the stuff that you're left with is raw and pure and organic and natural and crisp and clean and healing and soothing. And that feeling you get when you go home to mum and dad and you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, because you've had the best sleep of your life, because like you're a kid again, you've got the mum and dad there fussing after you, and that sort of thing. That dialing it right back, taking all the adults in that right back to a time where everything was just crisp and pure and natural, before the consumerism of the 80s greed and that took over. Dialing it right back, while still feeding the imagination, still feeding the senses, but the good, wholesome, clean stuff, where everyone's just chill and got each other's back, and it's not about religion, it's not about the country you come from, it's not about your political beliefs, it's not about anything. You're just there enjoying good movies, good games, good entertainment, good parks, a good feeling where the kids are all getting on and nobody's angry and everyone's just relaxing. It's good food, good drink, good company, good entertainment, good peace and quiet, good nature, just like almost like when they step through the gates, the whole world goes silent, and all they can hear is birds and kids laughing and the smell of fresh bread coming out of our bakery, and the smell of our wholesome, clean medicinal ales and that are wafting through the Alchemist Tavern, and people walking through and being like, oh my God, did I just die and go to heaven? Because this just seems too perfect and natural and nirvana, the Garden of Eden. That's what I want it to be. That's what I'm working towards. And you can still have bloody, gory, scary, screaming, pooping your pants horror, and still it come from a holy place. Because I'm proving that. Because that's what I'm doing. Like, I'm going to have all the blood and guts in that because, let's face it, this stuff it happens in real life. So we can't put blinders to it and pretend that none of it's happening, because it is. But I can teach you and put it all out there in a way that it's entertaining, so they don't even realize they're learning stuff. And I've come up with another bit too unorthodox that I'm not going to say anything about yet, because if I give too much away, it's going to ruin everything. But it's pretty cool, and it's based on British mythology, because it's got to be British and Russian, because that's where the Holy Trinity is based. So, because remember, the Quantum Menace is there. In the Quantum Menace sagas, he's there helping the Royal Air Force create a smoke and mirrors event to distract the people while they take the Nazis down who are trying to sneak in from behind. So, a false flag event is created, and the Quantum Menace opens up the portal, which he learns to do in part 1 and in Unorthodox, to let the planes through and all that. So he's there in the United Kingdom anyway, and he's a time jumper now. So, yeah, the past is the future is the present is the future, the past is the present, all sorts of things with the Quantum Menace. That's a great thing about being a time jumper. So, he's already there anyway, so he might as well go forward in the future a bit and deal with it. I mean, it's all dealing with the same thing anyway. It's all the same cult, basically. It's just this other cult has branched off from the main cult, thinking that it can rule on its own. So, but it targets specifically like celebrities and politicians, and people who want to be on the world stage, people who want to be known and be idolized. They specialize in idolatry. This other cult, this branched off cult, specializes in idolatry, hedonism and idolatry. So yeah, so anyway, I'm going to go and finish my coffee. But yeah, like it's growing and just getting more, and it's just getting so very exciting. I can't I need God to hurry up and get me justice so that I can leave, because I've literally got like about a year to get Vanta Black sorted. And I really want to get it printed on vinyl and have like a little record store. And all the music that we play in that will all be ours. We won't have any outside music. It'll all be ours. We're the entertainers. We're the ones putting on the show. And then we'll put it out there for the world to see. My little stars that are shining in the universe I created for them and my room. So, I'm going to go. I shall speak to you later. Vinyl, yay! Stereos again, yay! Do they still make stereos again? I'm pretty sure they still do. I'm pretty sure there's still musicians in that like to put their stuff on vinyl, because I think it became like a wee trend again. I hope so. Otherwise, I'm going to have to track one down and make sure I have like a good collection of needles buy enough needles to last a couple of decades. Because yeah, I'm in my house. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna have like a milkshake maker, not a blender. I'm gonna have an actual milkshake maker and an actual popcorn machine. And yeah, I can't wait. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I shall speak to you later. Ka kite anō.